Hey, how's everyone doing? Little Regret 265 here with some first impressions on the Renault Mégane Trophy in GT Sport. That's the newly released one, the 1.19 update that dropped a few days ago. And for starters, I have to say that I purchased this pretty much on a whim for a daily race, but I'm very pleasantly surprised with the car on the whole and look forward to seeing more of it, though I might not be frequenting it myself. I'll have this first daily race that I did with it going on in the background, and hope you enjoy that struggle as I go on and on about my thoughts on the car. So what's it like to drive? Well, I think it's actually really well behaved and quite neutral for the most part, even by the standards of the Group 4 class. There's not a whole lot of quirky behavior to report, as you might have guessed, other than the slightest hint of oversteer if you really throw it into the corner, and some on-power oversteer if you really give it a lot of throttle, more so than other MR cars in the class in my opinion. Even with that, the car is still very forgiving to drive, and it has an easy to learn, hard to master kind of feeling to it, which I think is the whole ethos of Group 4 especially. In comparison to the Mégane Trophy in GT6, I feel like it's a lot more composed in the best sense. Maybe my memory's a bit off, but I recall the Mégane in that game being a bit more slippery. Not necessarily difficult to drive, but much more capable of getting away from you, whereas this thing in GT Sport is easy to put around in box stock. Set it on the Group 4 BOP, and it's even more tame and civilized, with less of that worrisome on-power oversteer. Why is it in Group 4 though? What about the other Mégane? Now this was a question that popped into my head, while many others were loathing and lamenting the fact that the Group C cars got lumped into Group 1. Why is this trophy car, a one-make race type of deal with very low weight and healthy power, sitting with a bunch of other purpose-built GT4 cars? They priced it out at 350,000 credits and quietly introduced it along with the big Le Mans editions and the Fiat 500. Sure, it's a great car, but why? Not to mention that Renault already has a Mégane in Group 4, a front-wheel drive hot hatch that goes like stink. So why even bother with adding this thing? Regardless of all that, I still love the addition. It gives even more variety in an already well-varied class, not to mention the fact that it makes excellent one-make racing by design. If you didn't like the other front-wheel drive Mégane, but are a die-hard Renault fan, then this is great news for you, particularly if you want to get involved with the Manufacturers' Cup. I think that while it might be a BOP headache right now, it's still a great move to expand the class incrementally. I also think the Mégane Trophy drives circles around the Group 4 car, both on pace and ease of use. It's way faster before BOP, but even after it gets regulated, it's still a lot easier to get the trophy car around the track quickly, in my opinion. They both accelerate like hell, but when the going gets twisty, you can imagine the trophy comes out on top. While you have a more stable car in the front-wheel drive Mégane that you almost can't spin out, the trophy is just so much more agile and usable. What of the BOP though? Is it too fast? Now, I noted to myself that this thing was topping some of the leaderboards from day one, and I think a lot of it's to do with that low curb weight that it has. I think that this car has to undergo some adjustments in the next change to BOP, but as it stands, it's not broken, just quite a weapon to use, and one that a lot of people are going to gravitate towards for the time being. It'll settle in with time though, the same way that the front-wheel drive cars did, and others before that in Group 4. Probably needs a bit more weight. Hopefully we get some revisions to the BOP prior to the start of the first FIA championship, so we don't have any kind of OP cars, which Group 4 is notorious for, if we're honest. Getting back to the Renault, it feels very similar in spirit to the 4C Group 4 car, and hopefully it's easy to resolve the BOP for the Mégane, since they already got the Alpha in check. How is it to race though? Like I said, it's a pretty benign car, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have some fangs if you aren't careful. It did bite a few people in this race, and I had to be extra cautious pretty much the whole time. Doesn't help that Suzuka is technical. Note to self, quit doing videos at Suzuka. But I didn't have too much trouble getting it all together during the race, even though I didn't put together a clean practice lap prior and had to start dead last. I also really like when Polyphony Digital does races with tires and fuel that don't require a pit stop, because it rewards patience and consistency, even if not outright. While I doubt we'll see a ton of this combo again, I do hope to see more one-make racing and things like that really hinge heavily on drivers' skill. In summation, the Renault is a tough car to beat right now. It's nimble, it's one of the few real cars in Group 4 right now if you're into that kind of thing, and it's easy to pick up and drive. I really enjoy driving it, but for the simple reason that I think that a lot of people are going to use it until it gets nerfed, I'm going to stay away for now. I wouldn't want to feed into that homogeny unless it's absolutely necessary, as I deem it. However, I really like a lot of the factors behind the addition. I mean, how could you not? It's free content, and no one's forcing you to use it if you don't want to. I also particularly enjoy its behavior, and I hope you do too when you get a chance to use it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Make sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And above all else, just have a good one. I'll leave you guys to the rest of this race while I go and get my life together, and I'll see you later.